So let's just take a look at Breitbart. Globalists unite. Hillary Clinton running mate Tim Kaine dines with George Soros' son as Donald Trump's rise terrifies the world elite. And I just started with this page so that you can look at who else the son of George Soros is with. Very top left, I believe that is, oh my God, what is her name? I can't even think of it. Congresswoman. Of course, we got President Obama top. Guess who under? Hillary Clinton. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy! Good to see you. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? What else does this website have to tell us? Senator Tim Kaine, Democratic presidential nominee, Hillary Rodham Clinton's running mate, dined exclusively with the son of progressive billionaire George Soros on Thursday evening, according to a photo posted on the Alexander Soros' Instagram on Friday afternoon. Quote, "Love this man!" Exclamation point. Alex Soros wrote, along with a photograph of him with the vice presidential hopeful, quote, "Was great to have dinner with a man we need to call one day, hashtag vice president at Tim Kaine, last night. He is definitely the real deal, exclamation point," end quote. Oh, he's the real deal, just like Hillary is. They're both the real deal for you guys, for you 1%ers. The fact that Alex Soros, who, well, let's close this. What is this garbage ad? Can't have it. Breitbart, get these garbage ads out of my face. Pause that garbage. That's a Hillary at a rally. Ugh. The fact that Alex Soros, who was inspired in his own progressivism by his controversial father, has unfettered access to Kaine, Hillary's running mate, is unsurprising. The Clinton apparatus has long come under scrutiny for their closeness with high-dollar donor-class figures, some of which has prompted federal law enforcement to fight for an official criminal investigation into the Clinton cash narrative. One of the Department of Justice the Department of Justice under Attorney General Loretta Lynch has reportedly shut down. That being said, reports have surfaced that the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Preet Bharara, is in fact investigating, along with the FBI, the Clinton Foundation for such donor-class proclivities with the Clinton apparatus. So, again, do we have to wonder how that's going to go? Oh, the FBI is looking into it. They're all over this one. I remember having discussions with my buddy Frank. You know, I talk about him all the time. And this was back when they first opened up the investigations into the email scandal. Man, no, they're investigating more. I said, Frank. Don't you remember what Trey Gowdy did? He grilled the hell out of Hillary Clinton. You said, it was going to be unbelievable. What came of that? Did anything happen? No, you're right. Okay. Do you think anything's really going to happen? Yeah, but their FBI's all over. They're actually investigating it. Frank, do you know how this is going to end? It's going to end the same way the other one ended. Nothing to see here. We looked and there's nothing here. Yeah, but they're Frank. How did it end with the top head honcho FBI, Mr. Comey? She absolutely positively broke the law. No two ways about it. But we don't recommend prosecuting because you also have to prove intent. There has to be intent. And we don't believe there was no intent to do this. It just, essentially just happened. There was no intent. No, you don't actually have to prove intent on something like that. She didn't have to intend on using a personal email server to send classified emails, send and receive. She did it. You know the rules. You may not have intended to do it, but you still knew the rules, the law, and you did it anyways. I might even argue, maybe, right? This may be a huge stretch of the imagination. All right, I'm sorry for if I'm about to offend the liberals, but she skirted the government email system and set up her own private email system specifically to do this, which would mean to me there was intent. That was the intent, as a matter of fact. Nah, nothing to see here. Even more troubling than the Clinton cash narrative, though is the fact that Hillary Clinton's tax returns, the 2015 returns were released on Friday, show that she and Bill Clinton have made a whopping $240 million since leaving the White House when George W. Bush won the 2000 presidential election. That's a long way from, quote, dead broke, which they said they were at the time, and it's all from their governmental connections and paid speeches. Alex Soros' Tim Kaine summit comes after a litany of other high-profile meetings he has had with top Democrats. In fact, the Democratic National Convention, DNC, in Philadelphia, he got a coveted meeting and photograph with Hillary Rodham Clinton herself. Quote, here he goes again, Mr. Soros. There can only be one hashtag Woman Crush Wednesday today, and that is, of course, at Hillary Clinton, not just for being the first woman to run for president from this nation's two largest political parties, but I believe the best presidential candidate this nation could have today! Exclamation point. Looking forward to seeing her crush it tomorrow. Hashtag WCW. Hashtag Hillary Clinton. He wrote about his meeting and photograph with Clinton herself. So this is the Sun. You know, when I see all this stuff happening, and I'm seeing how really truly pissed off people are starting to become, no matter what party affiliation, the ones who are saying, whoa, there's something big time wrong here, and I'm starting to get pissed off. They're lying to my face. They're covering fantastic news on Hillary Clinton, and something bad comes out, they won't even cover it. They dump on Donald Trump for something, right? They dumped on him for the cake. Oh, are you going to renounce this KKK guy that endorses you? How does that compare to the terrorist's father that is responsible for the worst mass shooting in American history, allegedly? And again, you know it was a drill gone live. But again, the official story is that it was real, and this guy's a terrorist, and the father shows up. And the mainstream media doesn't even once do what they did to Donald. Well, the KKK guy came out and said he endorses you. They put that son of a bitch, the terrorist's father, in the bleachers behind her. I already showed you in my other video the St. Petersburg showing, Florida, and then the Kissimmee one. Video, here's what it looks like inside. Pictures as well, photographs. And the Kissimmee, here's a nice photograph. Everyone out here, single row. Everyone's the same height. All the way around the corner, all the way back. Directly behind the podium where the cameras are going to be facing is a bleacher section. And you can see it's roped off essentially with these little gates. You can't just walk up in there and decide, I want to sit behind her. And you're going to tell me that this guy, this terrorist father, walked inside the DNC and decided, I'm going to sit right there, right behind her. And again, if your son just committed a terrorist crime, you are absolutely being followed, monitored, spied on more than you could ever imagine. Because how do they know you're not just like your son? How do they know you weren't working with him? They're not sure yet. It just happened. And even if they are sure, there's still protocols. You are going to be watched for a while, my friend. We didn't know he was coming. We didn't know he was coming. The Secret Service and the FBI, nobody knew this guy was coming. And remember, they walked out and the news tried to catch them. Hey, what were you thinking, what was going through your mind when she first opened up with the whole, terrorist event? We work with the FBI and the government. We work with them. That's all I want to say. Leaves. Hours later, pitch black, dark now, it was daylight then. The same news agency in Orlando. We happened to run into him again later, and he wanted to talk with us. Excuse me? You happened to run into him again later, and now he wants to talk to you. And what did he say? I was invited. This is democracy. Everyone can come. I was invited, and I accepted. I went. I showed up. That's what he said. I was invited, and I went. Took the invitation. But they're saying, well, yeah, but it was an auto-generated email. No, wait a minute. No. You had to RSVP to get into these events. Like I said, I was going to RSVP in the St. Pete one because I wanted to go just to see, only to see how many people are actually showing up and show the whole inside. That was going to be my purpose. And I was like, should I take the day off for that? I thought to myself, is it really worth wasting a vacation day for that filth? And the truth of the matter is, actually, yeah, it was, because I would have been able to show so much to my subscribers and everyone else who wanted to see this. And I wish I did. But I recall it was everywhere. You have to RSVP if you want to come. Which means he also had to RSVP. I am so-and-so. I will be there, etc. Okay, we got a list, Miss Hillary Clinton. Here's all the people that are coming. You don't, again, forget all that. Let's just say it was a wide open door occasion. The same thing applies. This guy would have been watched, is still on a watch list. They would have notified everybody and their mother that this guy is coming down there. Watch him. Matter of fact, because we have a presidential hopeful there, you're going to pull him aside for a extra security scan. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. Yes, sir, we got it. No scan, no search, no nothing. Sit down, have a nice day. You sit right in the front row, right behind, center row. If this wasn't so serious, I'd be rolling on the floor laughing my head off. Hysterical. And then you think about how many people in high positions of power are all part of this club, and they will do anything for each other, including squash you or I, without even thinking twice, so that their game can continue. And then you realize, even if a man like Donald Trump gets in there, even if he can make it, they own all the federal judges. They own half the Supreme Court currently. Tons of congressmen and women, as you've seen how they vote. They vote for the club. They vote for the corporations and the fascist powers every time. You have Attorney General, which he may say, all right, you're fired. Attorney General, FBI, you're fired. CIA head, you're fired. This one, that one, fired. Okay, now I got to replace them. Here's my appointments. Oh, got to go through the Senate. Senate, do you approve Exhibit Number A for Donald's pick for the Department of Justice? No, not approved. Okay. How about person B, or I call them Exhibit B, second choice? No, not approved. Next, third, not approved. Fourth, not approved. Next, not approved. And then you know what Donald would have to do? He'd have to say, well, if you guys are going to play that way, you're going to be passing me some bills that I have to sign into law. And if you're not willing to work with me, we're going to have some problems. So you're going to send a bill forward. It may get vetoed. And you know what Congress will do? Something you've probably never seen before. Some of you may have seen it once or twice in your lifetime, but point being, we never see this. If the Congress votes two-thirds majority, it bypasses the president's veto ability. So you'll watch all the clowns in Congress get together. Two-thirds majority, let's pass this sucker. We don't need your help, Mr. President. and you don't get to pick the people to replace those positions. Which means, protocol, well, since there's a open seat, the second so-and-so in command takes the seat until the person's picked, and that second so-and-so in command is part of the club. So he would have his work cut out for him in some senses. But anyways, I just had to share this with you. This is, the email said it. George Soros told her how to handle Albania. We got a little problem over here. Can you take care of that, Miss Clinton? No problem. Takes care of it. And now the son's dying. He's been with her, pictures with her, Barack. And now the potential vice president. I have to say, I fought when some people's comments a while back when I said, look, people keep talking about, well, you could leave the country. There's other places you can go to that are better than America. You should get out. People should. And I said, Gerald Celente, man, he's had the same thought after he got cleaned out by MF Global, that whole scandal. He said, I've had enough. This justice system here is completely garbage. It's their club, and I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm getting out of here. He said, I didn't tell anybody this, but I went because I was ready to leave. And I went to different parts of the world, places that I would like to, let me check this place out. He said, and everywhere I went, they got the same problem we have. Corrupt government everywhere. Same issues, same problems. So I go to the next one, see the same thing. He says, I went to all these ones I wanted to go to, and I came back. If it's not better anywhere else, why the hell am I leaving anyway? This is my country. I'll stay here and just have to fight for it. And that's what he said. So part of my brain says, this country is in big trouble. These people control everything. And they're going balls to the walls right now to further their agenda. And you and I are in the way. And they don't care. And they will do whatever it is to continue. So, I feel like in the back of my mind, I'm fed up and I wish I could leave. My whole family has passports, just in case. However, I would be in the same position as Gerald Celente. Where am I going to go? And then, like I argued before, you're the outsider, essentially. You're the American in another country. And if stuff starts going south in that country, because you understand, a lot of countries out there use the U.S. dollar. When that sucker goes, they're not going to be happy. And if old Gringo and his family's over there, they may band together. Hey, we're ethnic. Would you not band together if a bunch of these Muslims were thrown in from Syria like they're doing in the EU at the level that they're doing over there? 200,000, and then like a little, some hard times came upon us and people are fighting in the streets and we're fighting over food and we're fighting over stuff. And you see a crap load of Americans with you down there. Everyone's upset. We're trying to get food, kind of like in Venezuela's right now. And then you see a different colored persons in a giant group. It's these Muslims they brought over. Are you telling me, as an American that grew up here, you wouldn't side with those people and say, look, we love you guys, and under good times, we don't mind sharing, and, but there's only so much food in that building, and you bastards were just brought over here. So thanks, but no thanks. We're going to go in here, and I suggest you don't come in with us. It's not going to end pretty. That would happen because that's what always happens. People always go back to their ethnic background, and it just happens. You never think about it until it happens. You never think about doing something like that until the situation comes up where you're in an oh shit mode. Just like they would do it to you if you were in any Middle Eastern nation and things were good and they even liked you. Hey, we're good with this guy. He's a good friend. He's a good guy. And then all hell breaks loose. People are, scrambling for money, scrambling for food. They're going to look at, Gringo. Well, Gringo had enough money to move over here. He never seemed like he was poor. That's for sure. We know that. All of a sudden, you're the outsider. So that's where my mind goes back and forth. Sometimes you get pissed off. I wish I could just leave this damn country. I'm sick of these people, their rotten justice system. But if I move somewhere else, what about a job? How am I going to survive? And not only that, what if things get bad and they're looking at me and they don't like me anymore because, hey, we look at you, you're an American, your damn country caused this problem and we're suffering now. Bottom line is, like Gerald said, it's everywhere. The problems are everywhere. It's the same problem. Corruption, corruption, corruption to the core. Which means, as the Webbot predicted a long time back, get ready for a new meme called Global Revolution. It's going to be global. And by God, we're seeing it. It's just starting, but we're seeing it. Take care.